how my uncle Jiraiya and Revy are connected. Now, I made a video a long time ago, which literally was one of my most comedic videos of all time, which was my uncle Jiraiya, which was based off my uncle in real life, and what it was, it gave all the positive, all the devil advocates you can think of where it comes to comedy, and it was so cool. But I took it down because of the main fact that life was getting serious, not just for me, but for everyone, and we needed to figure out that we can't always cover up serious shit where I laugh. Is what I learned from Justin, is what I learned from everyone else. Arturo was a different story because Arturo stuck around when I had no one else, and he gave me a different perspective. But the reason why this ties heavily in is because I couldn't be a devil's advocate for Uncle Jiraiya because of the end result of what happened and how I learned the truth on my own. And the thing about him and Revy is, I made a video a long time ago saying why I remembered that anime was for kids after I became a grown-ass man. I started watching Black Lagoon. I didn't get that far into it because I was distracted by other animes like Darling in the Franxx, My Hero, all that other shit, because of the fact that I made love to a cosplayer that was Revy from Black Lagoon. And the thing, I automatically compared her when I started watching those episodes, and the first thing when I see her cussing, I'm all like, dude, I can see right past that she's doing way too much. She's literally, the cussing is getting in the way of the comedy. Yeah, Revy has a couple of good lines, but that is what her and my Uncle Jiraiya had comedy. You know what that comes from? That comes from hiding something from their past. I saw right through it because I grew up listening to Uncle Jiraiya do nothing but cuss and make jokes. And when I see Revy cuss and make jokes and use guns, it literally automatically made me feel like she was childish. I saw right past through her because I saw the little girl in her. As soon as she started showing off, it doesn't matter if she's killing people, it doesn't matter this and that. That shit meant nothing to me. If you were really proud of yourself, you wouldn't feel the need to cuss that much. And the reason why is this is such a heavy fucking video of what I learned about people, what I learned about life, what I learned about everything, is that Revy is hiding from the fact that she's a little girl inside, and that she's using those guns, she's using everything else, you know, to hide the fact that she knows she's immature on the inside. I haven't got that far into Black Lagoon, but I can just tell by the surface of a character because I've lived through a whole person that lives through that persona of cussing, exaggerating shit when they don't need to, and literally that is what I feel now. Revy is hella different from Jiraiya. I love Revy. I think she's fun. She's literally nominated the best shooter in all of anime, right next to Yoko, and I fuck with her character. I fuck with Dutch more, but the real reason why I fuck with Dutch is because Dutch is laid back and mature, but Revy is hella cool. But the reason why I was dissing Revy is for people to understand the lesson of life. She was hella fucking dope. Not many females in anime have a personality like her, so yeah, that's cool. So if I was a little kid, I would love Revy. But the problem with me is I never liked guns when I was growing up. I never thought being a gangster was cool. I never thought anything having to do with guns was alright. I didn't like Grand Theft Auto, but I played the fuck out of Sly Cooper. And the reason why was because I never liked the fact that you can punk someone out of their car and can drive their car in Grand Theft Auto. I never liked that. You know, I kind of thought it was cool, but it's like, why would I do that when I can see the same buildings, when I can literally look at the same scenery in real life, and I don't have to like do all that. Yeah, you can call me crazy, you can call me square, you can call me weenie and all that, but I'm telling the truth. With, like I said, I never liked Grand Theft Auto because of the concept. I never wanted to be a gangster. What made me want to rap was shit like Eminem, and Eminem was totally different from all the gangster rap. I wanted to listen to lyrical rap. I never really wanted to be a gangster until I saw girls. I saw all the gangsters with the girls, and that made me want to become hip-hop all of a sudden. And I tried to tell Peter that, and Peter tried too hard. As soon as he saw his first slap marathon, and literally I tried telling my mom after I'm a grown adult, and how I tried to tell her that Peter was full of shit because he wanted me to hang out with Peter because Peter was a so-called nice person. When I saw the other side of Peter, and I'm all like, you know what, Mom? What happened to Peter is the same thing what happened to me. Oh, you're content on your computer all this time. Now all of a sudden you want to be social just because you want to get girls. Revy and Jiraiya are very connected because Jiraiya was so fucking funny when it came to Peter. Peter was literally Jiraiya's example of what you should be when it comes to being mature, because Peter had a clean room, Peter had this and that, but he also had that and I didn't. And growing up, and I saw through Jiraiya's, you know, bullshit, but you know, that's why I took it down. It's a very emotional story, but the reason why me and my baby mama are so cool is because I found her at a time where I was a grown man. I had one kid already, so me and her went through a power struggle, and me and her already, you know, established. But the thing that she can see in me automatically is that I am not a gangster, but I do know how to take charge. I do know how to be a leader. I do know how to calm down. I am the guy who scares gangsters off. I am the guy who, if you try to point a gun to my head, I will break your arm. And that's what she realized. She's over here cosplaying as the hardest girl in anime, and I'm sitting over here, everybody's like, you dominated her. I dominated her because I had to. I had to show my dominance as a man in order for her to realize that I am a father, and that street life ain't shit, and that I already know the people behind it, and why I stayed away from it is because I became a stronger person. It's because I didn't rely on those tools is why I became stronger as a man, and I never wanted to be a gangster. But once I finally got the opportunity to protect the girl, I didn't rely on gangster shit. And so me and Jiraiya, and the reason why it's heavily connected is because both Revy and Jiraiya are just a front, and that even though they have a ton of skill, even though they've earned a ton of respect, their past is leaking through their outer image because of what they did to get that respect. I don't know what Revy's backstory is. I might marathon Black Lagoon, but from the first 4 episodes, I can already tell what her character is based off of, because I'm big on screenwriting. I'm big on how a show is written. I am really, really knowledgeable about the stereotype that Revy portrays. So that is why I know so much about a person who is a formal shell, is who Jiraiya and who Revy is. So Revy, I don't know what sees exactly hiding. Once I watch Black Lagoon all the way through, I'll definitely be able to give a synopsis. I'm gonna make another video of what I learned from Black Lagoon, but Jiraiya, I learned over time, wasn't a big front. Yes, he earned those feats, but as a man, I look at that like, dang shit. Because even though you earned it, you went through a whole bunch of pain, but instead of you making light of the situation, he continued to live that life. One thing that made me and my uncle Jiraiya different is I was in the same situation like the regular kids tried to prove that I was special ed, and I proved them wrong without me getting too physically hurt. What I mean by that is my uncle was state champion because he was trying to strip off the reputation of being retarded, because he got kicked out of his mom's house when he was young. He was trifling, he was doing all of that. He tried to prove them wrong. My goal, just like Uncle Jiraiya, was to prove the popular kids wrong, and I couldn't do it in high school. I made it a goal when I was in high school because people kept on clowning on me that I would get a girlfriend before I graduate. In junior high, I'm like, oh, I still got 4 years in high school, but when I failed at getting a girlfriend, even at high school, is when literally I had to give up. I had to accept the reality that I did not have the skills to outrate the resources at all, and that I had to accept defeat. It's because I accepted defeat is why I came back as an adult, and why I shunned all of them in the future. But the thing that made me and my uncle Jiraiya different is my uncle held on to that dream. Yeah, you may have became chess champion, but it came too late. That's like me flexing that I have a girlfriend when I didn't have the one in high school. And in my videos, I don't flex. I explain why I went through those struggles. I explain why I stayed humble. I explain why I used to be a loser and why I couldn't stay that way. My uncle did to constantly prove a point that he should have surpassed. He should have let go of that grudge, you should let go of that dream because it wasn't worth anything anymore. It's only worth it to him in his head. Not all his friends he tried to prove wrong are dead or in jail. And me, I stay away from all those people, and I literally became a new person. So they're all like, dude, what happened to you? You weren't this good at Cap. You weren't this good. I'm like, it's been 10 years from now. Yes, I am the one who is willing to admit that I lost in the past. I'm the one who is willing to admit that the street life wasn't shit and that I stopped holding on to it. But Revy represents someone that if you're stuck in the gang and you're trying to make your way out, is when she literally got so far into the game that she can't get out, and she wishes that she can be a little girl again. And let me tell you, in real life you can. In real life you can be childish. In real life you can be fun-loving and carefree as long as you're responsible. And Mr. Pleasure taught me that. Mr. Pleasure taught me that you don't have to be gangster, you don't have to be this and that, but you have to be responsible. You have to have a backup plan, you have to have this and that, you have to stand up for yourself, but you have to show them why being gangster and shit. And I learned that from Shia LaBeouf in Transformers. When that guy was flexing his car in front of Shia, you know what Shia did? He didn't encourage the conversation. He didn't act hella gangster. You know what Silent did? He's like, okay, let's go over to your house and play with some pop-up books, maybe a little bit of video games here and there. Start shutting him because of the whole fact you're trying to act mature, flexing on that car when you're doing immature shit, capping on someone. Yeah, that car is compensating for something. As Shia LaBeouf noticed that instantly, he called it out. That is who I am now. I am Shia LaBeouf to everyone who flexes on me with their material things, covering up for their shitty personalities and the fact that they're stuck with the same fucking people. Well, I stopped. When I did my pull in the gangster life, I'm like, dude, this is a shit. They're just talking about dumb shit. They're just smoking weed. They're nerds just like Arturo. Instead, they have to stay with the same people. They have to achieve a status. They have to keep this dumb shit up, even though they know there's more to life than that. When I was on homeless mode and I literally was trying to be resourceful, I realized what the street life wasn't shit because of literally the loop that keeps you in. It keeps you one-dimensional, and literally, even though you have a lot of people to relate to, what all those people, how did they amount to? I would rather be someone with a whole bunch of people who worked hard for their profession instead of a whole bunch of people who ignored that a profession exists. Oh, I don't have to listen to a boss, I can shoot one. And that's why you never become one. Uncle Jiraiya and Revy taught me a lot about life, and that's why I think the lesson that I learned from observing Uncle Jiraiya to the point where I can take care of this woman, where I can literally be there when her dad wasn't, is literally what I learned from that. And literally, the reason why it's such a touching story and why both of them are intertwined, I'm not so much talking about the cosplay, I'm talking about the character that she cosplayed and the fact that she was a little girl inside, and that's what I'm saying. And that is why I learned that stereotype with the guns and stuff like that is always hiding something. And literally, even though I saw right past it, it made me look at it in a different light. Like, you know what? Maybe there's more to Shonen than just it being for 15. And maybe there's more to it that I'm not recognizing. Like I said, once I finish Black Lagoon, I'm gonna do an honest summary of what I feel about it. But right now, Dutch is my favorite character because he's so calm, cool, and collect. And as far as my Uncle Jiraiya, I'm sorry, I cannot reboot that video. But this is the lesson of why I can't reboot that video, why I became such a good father, why I became this and that, is because I beat the street people at their own game. Now, I'm not saying we have shootout. What I'm saying is that they tried to. I gained a mind equivalent to a gun to the point where it's strictly known to look out for people who try to get over on you. Look out for this and that. Like, if someone tries to give me a handout, the first thing I'm gonna ask is, are you gonna help me by giving me an opportunity to take care of my children, or are you gonna set me up for another job again just so girls can try to pull the same shit again? That is how I learned how to not only defend myself, but how I learned how to weed out other people and stop the situation from escalating by literally stopping them in their tracks and asking the right questions, so literally they don't ask no dumb questions back. Revy the cosplayer and Revy the anime character is just a big reminder that I am a man. And so anybody who wants the old My Uncle Jiraiya video rebooted can't happen because it will make me too emotional. I'm being honest here, is why I made that video of why you can't always be overwhelmed by music, why you can't always be in your own little world, why you can't get too emotional. You know what, when I listen to my iPod and a good song or an overwhelming beat comes on and I'm trying to cross the street, I'm not gonna listen to that song because it's gonna distract me. It's gonna make me start dancing out of nowhere because this is a time when I have to pay attention. And that's when I really learned how to be mature.